I believe that lately there has been this kind of trend that is happening, that there's a collaboration between some reviewers and also manufacturers of the audio gear such as IM. And hello and welcome to the After Sound review, and this is my review for one of those collaboration between the Seeaudio and also crinacle, and this is the Seeaudio Yume Midnight, which costs around $200, and it's using a single dynamic driver and 2 balance armature. And honestly, I'm really hoping to try this, and thank you for Seeaudio for providing me with this review unit, because absolutely I like what they have been producing so far. I mean, I really like the Seaudio's IMs, and also I really like what crinacle has been done with his review, and let's see what this IM is all about. And just like usual, I will break down this review from the build, fit, frequency response, sound, and comparison. Build quality wise, I think that this IM is still another mediocre resin Chi-Fi IM. It has been happening again and again. And for me, yeah, I'm not saying this is bad, it's just like the usual Chi-Fi resin IM. You could see that it's using all resin in the body, and also you get some aluminum nozzle, I believe. And then, yeah, you get a carbon faceplate like this, and then you get that Midnight letter on the right side, and also Seaudio's logo on the left side. And it's using 2-pin connectors with this quite thick single strand cable that is quite stiff. I personally don't really like the stiffness of this cable itself. The lower part is twisted, and this is the jack part, but overall I think this is pretty mediocre. Well, the ergonomics for me, actually I have no problem, even though it looks a little bit bulky on the housing, but I have no problem with the comfort of the IM itself. It feels definitely comfortable for me. You can see, even though it's sticking out a little bit from my ears. But the thing that I don't really like is about this stiff cable, because it's stiff and it's only a single strand. You could see that sometimes you just pull it a little bit and it will fall off almost my ear like this. So I prefer to use them with this chin slider. Thankfully there's a chin slider in the cable itself. Graph wise, I could say that it is neutral with bass boost, and it's definitely following crinacle's neutral target, especially around the upper mid-range to treble area, but it has added bass. So yeah, it's neutral with added sub bass with bass boost. But for me, the thing that is really interesting here is how the extension of both the bass and then the treble is really good. Even I could say that it might be the best at this price point. Okay, so when it comes to the sound, I primarily using my iBass X160 as my source, and this IM are not really hard to drive, so even though I'm using only my phone, it already sounds great. Okay, let's talk about the thing that I'm really satisfied with, that I'm really looking for when I see the first time the frequency response of this Yume Midnight. At first, when I see the frequency response, and I think, wow, at $200 only, this IM must be one of the most complete IM that I've ever seen. I mean, the frequency response is really good. You could see that the sub bass extension into the treble extension is really great, and maybe it's the most complete at this price point. But it keeps maintain the tonal balance. So yeah, the tonal balance is looking good. The pinna gain around 3K is still really good, and also it has a really nice sub bass touch there. So yeah, at the first moment when I see the frequency response, oh, I'm really looking forward to try it. And yeah, I tried them, and just like I expected, it's really complete sounding IM that even it reminds me of some high-end IMs. For example, that like the Sony IR-M9, or maybe the Unique Melody Master Mark II, or maybe the Seeaudio Monarch Mark II. You see that all of those IMs that I've mentioned, the 3 high-end IMs that I really like, those IMs are really complete from the sub bass into the really high notes into the treble area, but keep maintaining that tonal balance. It doesn't go overly bright or overly warm. For me, those IMs are really great, and that's what I found in this IM, it somehow reminds me of those high-end IMs. But the more I tried of this IM, the more I find the weaknesses. So I can't help but whenever I try them, I feel like it somehow feels like a bit forced, especially in the balance armature region. It's only using 2 balance armature, but it somehow accomplished a really great tonal balance, but also really great extension. But for me, that comes with a price. It's definitely about the texture. Okay, I will talk about them one by one from the bass area first. The bass area is actually maybe a really good bass that a lot of you will like, because it has a really good sub bass extension. No matter what kind of song that you put into them, that you hear using this Yume Midnight, I will always hear that really nice sub bass depth and also really good punch, and it's also quite technical. It doesn't really go overly bloated or slow. It's keep it a balance between the good timbre of the bass driver that really goes deep, but also maintain a really good speed. So yeah, actually the bass is really exceptional. It does reach really deep, but maybe for you who like really good EDMs, it might lack a little bit of mid bass for you, but nevertheless for me the bass is just amazing. And I'm talking about the mid-range and vocal. Actually, if I'm only seeing them using the frequency response alone, it is really excellent. Just like I said, it is well controlled. It doesn't have really noticeable peaks here and there, but it's also very well extended to the really high notes. But here's the thing that I found that lacking from this IM after trying them for these weeks is the texture and timbre. So I can't help, because it's using only 2 balance armature. I find that after comparing them with this Stage Tone 2+ from the 4 acoustics, and then the Tangium Oxygen, and then the Moondrop KXSS, even it's on Brother, the Bravery, or Timeless, I feel that the texture and the timbre of this IM, it feels somehow more hollow compared to the IM that I've tried around that price point. It's a little bit hard to portray these feelings maybe, but yeah, when I hear the female vocal or male vocal, it's still quite balanced, but there's something missing from the vocal. I'm lacking texture. It doesn't sound as full as I'd like them to be, and this feeling is actually makes me remember when I play piano and then I switch from piano to the keyboard, and then no matter what, even though I'm playing the same notes, even though I'm playing the same song, but the timbre and also the fullness of the notes itself is definitely much more better portrayed in piano, while the keyboard is somehow more hollow, like I said. And for me, that's what I find in this Seeaudio Yume Midnight, Seeaudio Yume Midnight, even though it has really good tonal balance and also really great extension, but it's lacking texture, especially when I hear female vocals like the Dinacrawl or Amber Rubert. I feel like I'm lacking fullness of the notes, and also when I play violin and also cymbal and piano, again I feel that I'm lacking that fullness that I thought it will be there because of how balanced they are. So yeah, tonal wise, it's really great. Extension wise, again, it's really great, but it's lacking timbre, texture, and also coherency. Because of the dynamic driver is really playing an excellent job here. It's really dynamic, it's really reaching deep, but it has still that dynamic texture to it. But at the same time, the mid-range and also treble sometimes feel kind of pushed and hollow there. I feel that there's a gap between the driver that is easily noticeable. So yeah, I picked that incoherency quite easily, and I have to say that I don't really like that kind of sensation. And then going to the technical part, for me around $200. If you're talking $200 and below, I should praise this IM because it has excellent imaging, excellent detail. It's really great at this price point. If there is no 7Hz timeless, for me just adding another $20 Timeless is still better. Timeless is only fall in the depth and also imaging area, where I feel that imaging is kind of cramped and kind of like this small ball in comparison with this really nice Yume Midnight that has excellent imaging and also soundstage. For me, only that. But when it comes to detail, texture, timbre, even though I'm saying that the 7Hz isn't really ideal in timbre either, but it feels somehow more fuller to me and also a little bit more natural at the same time. But yeah, 7Hz Timeless is a little bit better. So when I'm comparing them also with its own brother, the Bravery, I should say that even though this Bravery is not really not a universally liked IM, I believe, but Seeaudio Bravery is still one of my most cherished collection. I really like this Seeaudio Bravery, definitely much more than the Seeaudio Yume Midnight. Even though for me the extension, the technical, and also the depth and imaging is actually a little bit better in the Yume Midnight. But no matter what, no matter how many times I tried them, I feel that the Seeaudio Bravery is more natural, again in texture and timbre, and also it doesn't feel as forced as this Seeaudio Yume Midnight. For me, it portrays a more fluid sensation, and then hearing violin and vocal from this Seeaudio Bravery is really satisfying. So yeah, for me, we have reached the end of the journey. Let's talk about the pros first. For me, this Seeaudio Yume Midnight definitely has a really nice looking, and for me, it fits really well into my ears. And then, yeah, it has really good tonal balance and also really great extension and technical at this price point. And it has some cons definitely. Like I said about the cable itself, it feels quite stiff, and I don't really like the ergonomics of the cable itself. But nevertheless, you can use that chin slider to help you with that fit. And then there's this texture and timbral problem and also incoherency problem that I find from this Seeaudio Yume Midnight. So the last question, even though there's 7Hz Timeless, should I recommend this IM to you? For me, maybe I guess that I will just save a little bit more and I will buy 7Hz Timeless instead. But if you like really great imaging and also you like that depth from the orchestral music, I feel that this IM is better at that job, and also it has better bass texture. And yeah, for me that's it. It's still a really good IM. It's just because that's Timeless there, it's really hard to choose exactly which one should I recommend. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you have any question, please write down in the comment below, and see you next time. Bye bye.